Hello boys and girls and everybody in the Angel Army and Angel Group. It is another episode of Talks with Heavenly. As you guys can tell, the purple background with all the glitter and glitz and glam is back. It was the very first background that I ever purchased, and today is its actual 1 year, not 1 year, oh god, 3-year anniversary as a background and everything. So yeah, I keep track of dates, time, and location and everything. So today, as you guys are aware, I am going to be talking about, let's see here, craziest vacation story, your thoughts on Dayton, Ohio. Okay, so 17 to 17, basically 100% to 100%, you guys voted on both of those subjects. Usually what I would do is split this into a 2-part video, but I'm not going to. If you guys would have just voted on the first one, craziest vacation story, I already had one lined up whenever I went on the Angel tour and everything a few years ago to take and perform everywhere from Tulsa, Kansas, Colorado, Nevada, Vegas, LA, and Oregon and everything. Like all of those states I was working in, and we ended up getting trapped in Utah and everything. We blew a rod in our engine, and so we ended up stuck at the between, like literally we passed 5 miles into the Utah border and boom, our rod was blown. And so we were stuck at a hotel in Colorado for a week, me and an old friend and traveling partner at that time. And yeah, we were trapped at a hotel for a little while and had to have somebody come and rescue us because we were like, oh, what are we supposed to do? And at that time I had a really dear fan of mine, which I still keep in contact with to this day. She let us borrow her car to come and get me and my friend so that we weren't stuck in Colorado for, you know, ever. Anyways, so, okay. Dayton, Ohio. As you guys are probably aware, as I've said in a live stream before, me and Cherry Poppins are no longer friends. We had probably one of the largest falling outs that I've ever had whenever it comes to friendship. So as I'm going to put down on this, anybody else's name is not going to be shared. But me and Cherry are no longer friends. I'm not going to necessarily say why. There's really no need to say that and everything, but she is no longer working on All That I Am Is Yours. I already hired 2 other people that I've known forever and everything to work on the show, and then I already hired another producer and an executive producer and stage manager and everything, and he is a really good friend of mine. I've known him for a very long time, and the only reason why I've never really asked him to work on the show was because he is probably way better at cinema photography than I am, and I'm a very proud person whenever it comes to what I do. And so, because I'm a Leo, so I'm a very proud person of what I do. So I couldn't really help, you know, but be like, that's last option if I have to. And so that's pretty much what it came to. So that's what I'm doing. But other than that, as you guys are probably aware, short story short, while I was up in Dayton, Ohio, some drama and stuff went down, and I was led to believe and everything, okay? Keep that in mind. I was led to believe. That right there should tell you enough information about what happened between me and Cherry. I was led to believe that I was basically going to be abandoned in Dayton, Ohio. I have spoken to the rest of the group of people that I was with and found out that that was not the case, and that's the reason why I use the word led to believe. So I was led to believe that I was going to be left in Dayton, Ohio, and it was snowing, it was cold, it was way below freezing. I mean, if it's like snowing and icing out to the point where you can barely see 5 feet in front of the car, it's pretty bad. And so me and all my makeup and all my camera stuff are sitting at the hotel, and I'm freaking out. I ended up getting food poisoning and was throwing up for hours, was not feeling good, could barely move, and basically it just turned into this ordeal, and that's the reason why there wasn't that many vlog videos, was because I wasn't feeling good and there was stuff going on, and I didn't feel that it was very appropriate to bring out a camera and just start recording when there was drama, and of course I wasn't feeling good at that time. And basically it got down to the point where I ended up calling my grandmother, and you know, a huge shout out to her because I love her so much for doing this. And of course my two aunts and everything that allowed my grandmother and my mom and Jay to borrow a car to take and come all the way up to Dayton, Ohio, which is like 5 states away from my hometown. And they traveled a full almost 16 hours to come and get me. And because I had no other choice. I went up there on a business agreement. And so I went up there, and for what it was, I had an amazing time. And now speaking to everybody else in the group, you know, you all are amazing. Thank you all for reaching out to me and listening to what was going on. Some of you had said that you felt like I was being bullied and stuff, which, you know, was the case. And I wish I would have spoken up sooner, because my family would have never have came and got me if I wasn't also led to believe that if I would have spoken up and said something, that everybody was going to attack me and everything. So it basically turned into that situation, you know, coming from a history of being bashed and brutally beaten up and stuff in the past. I was in a situation where I felt like my well-being and all of my stuff and just me in general was at risk of being left out in the cold in a state where I know nobody. And it was a really bad situation. And that's why I urge any of you, if you ever plan on going on a trip with people, listen to your gut. If your gut is telling you that something is not right, do not do it. If you do not have the money at all to get yourself home if something happens, do not do it. There has been so many times that I've went on trips with people and everything has always turned out perfectly fine, but there has been maybe 2 or 3 chances that something has happened because of friends that were not true friends. People that just wanted to use, lie, and basically just deceive everything that you ever thought that you knew about them and everything. And it was extremely heartbreaking, especially when I thought that the person that I could trust and everything was telling me the truth, and that I had to save myself to get out of there. And when I found out that this situation was happening, and then when the group contacted me and said, "Where are you? What's going on? Are you okay?" and everything, you know, because whenever I left, my family showed up at 1 a.m. in the morning at the hotel, and I put all of my bags, my makeup equipment, my camera equipment, everything in the car, and we basically hit the road. And we traveled all night and most of the morning back home, and I didn't tell anybody in the group that I was leaving because I was led to believe that if I did talk to them that I was going to get attacked. And so, basically when they reached out to me and they said, "We're worried about you, where are you, what's going on?" I was like, wait, this doesn't feel right, like what's going on? And so when I contacted one of the groups, which is the choreographer, I talked to him and I told him what was going on, and he was all like, "You've got to be kidding me. I wish you would have spoken up sooner, because that's not the case." And everything, nothing of that sort was ever going on. And it was a really crazy moment. And you know, this past week there was no videos. It's because several weeks prior to that and everything, I was still trying to cope with everything that was going on, and me and Jay and my family were trying to cope with it and everything and figure out what was going on and stuff. And it was just, to me, and the situation that I was in and everything, if you are any person of the LGBT community and you ever feel like your life is in danger and everything, you know how I could have been feeling at that time and everything. I felt hopeless. I felt very, very, very much alone because I had nobody to depend on. I didn't know anybody there. And you know, and of course I'm not that kind of a person just to like blow it out on social media and just be like, I need help and everything, because I try to keep stuff that's kind of negative like that offline and everything, unless it could be a learning experience. Like in a situation like this is a learning experience for somebody else out there, because I don't want this to ever happen to anybody else. And so it was just a very stressful time. And I wish, you know, things would have been different. I haven't spoken to the main person yet of the group. I've spoken to her once, but she was still in Dayton. And she did win the pageant, by the way, which is amazing and everything. Everybody in the group, including me, already knew that she had the talent to take and win the pageant and everything, because after the very first night of talent that she went and performed, that I did her makeup and dressed her and I got her ready for the pageant. After seeing what she could do on stage, we already knew that she had it. It was a given. We already knew. And it, you know, that hands down. And so, like I said, if you ever feel in your gut that something is not right, don't do it. If you feel like you don't have the funds, means to get yourself home in case something does happen, don't do it. And everything, because, you know, my family and everything, this, you know, my family, they came and got me and they rescued me, and not everybody has a family that's just willingly going to spend, you know, spare cash to take and put gas into a car, or let somebody even borrow a car to take and come get you. And so I'm entirely grateful for that. And like I told Jay, I was like, for now on, if anything like this, if we ever go on a business trip or a business agreement or anything like that, we have our own vehicle, our own hotel, and our own way and means of getting home and back. And if something does happen, let's not hesitate and everything to open our mouths and say something first and everything. And if things do get out of hand, then you know what, we just hit the road and we come home and everything, period, and everything. And she, you know, was just all like, yeah, I totally agree. And I told her, I was like, for now on, anywhere I go, you go, and anywhere you go, I go, and everything. Like, we're, it's come down to that point to where I'm just all like, she is my rock, I am her rock. And we feel that it's best that if we go on vacations or business trips or something like that together and everything, that we stick together and everything, because I can't, just the emotional stress that I was going through, and the emotional stress, because you can imagine being a mother and hearing your child call you saying, Mom, I need you to come save me because I feel like I'm in danger and everything. Like, and what's so crazy about this is, after this all happened, I started receiving messages and everything, and I got one message online that said, you're such a liar, you're such a user, da 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 da, and I was just all like, first of all, you need common sense in your life. And I know common sense isn't very common, but you really need to find some way of finding it common for yourself, because there is no person in their right mind that's gonna call their family bawling unless they are actually under the impression that they are in trouble and that they could possibly potentially be hurt and everything. You know, I have never ever been that person to just cry wolf about something outlandish and everything. And my mom and my family can tell you from day in and day out since I was young, when it comes to a severe situation, especially like this, it was not something that you could just whims up and everything out of the middle of nowhere. And you know, and you know, and at the end of the day, you know, when it comes to me and Cherry and everything, a long time ago when we were filming Lake Keystone, the horror flick, and I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of tea, okay? When me and Cherry and everybody else was filming Lake Keystone, the horror flick returns, I mean, it was great. She was there for the very first shoot of the show. She signed a contract that stated that if you were set for rehearsals and you were supposed to be on set that day, you must appear unless you have a doctor's note, a death in the family, or any other reason. It was on the contract. It clearly stated that. You would be out on set from day one, from the beginning to end of production. She never showed up to any other productions or any other sets. So I was forced, after about the second time that she didn't show up, I was forced to basically fire her. And she was supposed to be audio manager and set manager for that show, as well be an actor for it. And she only acted her one part, and that was it. And so, you know, it is what it is. But then later on and everything, I found out that she was having issues with her past relationship at that time, which I'm not going to divulge any of that, you know, information, but she was having issues at that time, and so that's the reason why she couldn't appear for anything else, so I let it go. Well then, for All That I Am Is Yours, I talked to everybody in the cast and crew, and we all agreed to give her a second chance and everything, to allow her to come in and prove herself. Everybody else in the cast and crew basically was coming to me saying, she's stressing us out. This is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be a fun project for all of us that are dear friends to each other, and she's making it feel like work. It doesn't feel like fun anymore. I don't want to do this if she's working on this. Needlessly to say, it got to the point to where we ended up losing one of our cast members, which was our main actor. And of course her reason was, as you can imagine, and everything. And I got to that point to where I was just like, you know what? I don't know what to do anymore and everything. I almost literally thought about canceling the entire show and the entire production because I didn't know what to do. And then Jay told me, she was like, don't give up on your dreams. This is your dream. This is your show. You wrote it. It's going for a good cause. The proceeds go to the domestic violence, you know, hotline, and this is your project. Don't give up on it. And I basically sat there and told myself, I was like, you know what? Hold up. I have a plan. I'm going to put the production on hold, and then after the show, after, you know, we're done with Dayton, Ohio, and I'm done working up there and everything, because once I was hired to work for the lady that I was working for, my job was to make sure that her face was painted, she was dusted, and that she was dressed and ready to go, and she was going to win this pageant. That was my job. And so when I am hired as a makeup artist, I take my job very seriously. I have always been that way. And so my job at that time was to deal with that, so I put production and rehearsals aside for the show, and then after the show, my plan was to sit down and talk with Cherry, and that didn't end up happening and everything. So needless to say, because of her actions, she basically, instead of me just saying, hey, I'm firing you because you're, you know, affecting everybody in the cast and crew, you know, now I'm firing you because of your actions towards me and the entire situation. So I didn't even have a chance to tell her that she was fired. She was already fired. So Cherry, if you're watching this video, just to let you know, you're fired. You're fired. Oh my God, I just like did like a Donald Trump thing. Great. Anyways, so yeah, that's enough out loud information. As I do want to put in this, please, to anybody out there, I beg of you, if you respect me as a person, if you love me as a person, please do not contact her. Leave her alone. And everything, I did this on my accord to talk to you all. And if you love me and respect me as a person and everything, please do not contact her. Because if she contacts me and starts giving me names, I'm not going to be happy and everything. So please do not contact her. It's better if it's just left alone. The whole point of Talks with Heavenly is to be real and to be serious with you all and everything, to have serious conversations, to talk about things that we all can find understanding in and everything, things that we can all, you know, what is the word for it? We all might have something in common with, you know, and everything. So that's the point of Talks with Heavenly. This isn't, you know, but this right here is the situation. This is what happened, and this is what's going on and everything. But that was like weeks ago and everything. So, I mean, that was in March. Like, I mean, we didn't even leave until March 16th, and the trip was over on, well, for me, it was over on the 20th, and we were there until the 21st, and I only got to work with my client once, and that was on the 17th or 18th, and then the rest of the time I was stuck in the hotel. I was trapped in the hotel. I couldn't do anything and everything because I wasn't feeling good, and plus two of everything else that I was being told. Anyways, okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and end this. So yeah, that right there was my two most crazy experiences on a vacation, as well as my thoughts on Dayton, Ohio. To everybody else in the US of A system that won the pageants and competed in the pageants, you are all winners. You are all amazing. I love everything that you guys do. You guys have so much talent and potential in your career. And to everybody in the group that I was working with, I am so sorry that I did not speak up to you all sooner. If I ever happen to cross your paths whenever I'm in Dallas, Texas, I will not be afraid to say hello. So yeah, anyways, I love you all. Please make sure to like, subscribe, become a part of the Angel Group or the Angel Army, however you want to put it. Make sure to go up there and vote on the next polls for next episode of Talks with Heavenly next week. And by the way, season 2 of Talks with Heavenly is almost over. We only have 4 more episodes, and after this episode, we only have 3 more episodes. Each season is 18 episodes long, and then after a few probably about a month or so, or 2 months, I will come back with a new season of Talks with Heavenly, and each season is going to change, so it'll be changing by the depth of how deep we get into situations and subjects. Anyways, I love you all, and I will see you all soon.